Ain't no half stepping with Marcus. Jay, thank you so much for staying with us at this late hour. We know we went late, and we appreciate everybody staying with us and enjoying Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus Jay, the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. We got one more segment before we get to the rants and the closings. We're going to go to about 10, maybe a tad after. 3-hour show. Fan of the show, Hakeem's been telling us we need to go 3 hours since we was on the website we used to be on. So it looks like we've been certainly going past 9 every single week, and looks like we're going to hit 10 tonight. But it's cool because we got good stuff. We got a good crew, and we lost Colin Banks, but we still got Stephen Sykes, host of Enliven Radio, heard here on these airways every Tuesday from 7 to 9. We got the biggest fan of Legacy Internet Radio, all the programming. We got S.Y. Butler in the building, so I'm definitely happy and proud to see the two of them sitting across me from the table. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be down with us. What I want to get into tonight as we finalize the end of the show, we get into the George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin trial. And what I really want to get into, kind of the angle that I want to get into, is the best friend of Trayvon Martin, the young lady that he was on the phone with at the time of him coming across George Zimmerman, a young woman by the name of Rachael Gentile. Rachael Gentile is a black female. She is late teens. She's dark-skinned, heavy-set, inarticulate. And because of those things, you had people in the black community. And, you know, I'm not speaking from white folks because I don't know white. I'm not white, and I don't know what y'all was talking about. I can only speak to what we was doing. And I know a lot of us in our community was making fun of this girl. We was talking about how she wasn't articulate. We was talking about how she didn't know how to talk. We was making fun of her clothes. We was making fun of, you know, just pretty much everything about her. You had even an Olympian by the name of Lolo Jones was making fun of this girl, talked about how she wanted to take her picture and put her on a DVD and call it Madea Goes to Court. I'm tripping off of this. I want to know, why is it that we, black people, and I'm speaking to us now, white folk, listen, you can comment if you want, but I'm speaking to black people right now. I want to know, why is it that we find it so easy to pick on our own, talk crap about our own, make fun of our own, but then get so damn mad when somebody calls us the N-word? Like, for real? What's the freaking difference? So I want to round table it with y'all. You know, Lolo Jones, is an Olympian. This is someone by some accounts, not all, by some accounts is a prominent person. You know, she didn't do all that great in the Olympics, but damn it, she made the Olympics. So you don't just you don't make the Olympics by being a jackass. You got to be pretty damn good to make the Olympics. You know what I mean? So you're not just talking about us in our community, because we all saw the Facebook posts that we was putting out there making fun of this girl. It ain't just me. I know y'all seen it too. But you got somebody who is, by all accounts, got a following large enough where the masses is going to see what she's saying. Lolo Jones. This is one person. So I want to know from you guys, what's your thoughts? I'll start with you, S.Y. What's your thoughts on Rachael Gentile, the fact that, by all accounts, this is a heavy-set, dark-skinned black girl who wasn't the most articulate, who clearly wasn't coached by the prosecution, who came in there with her own type of rhetoric in the court and how she performed there, but our people, black people, still found it appropriate to make fun of her?
Well, actually, I feel a little sorry for her in the situation that she's in. I think, frankly, she is scared shitless. I think she's very afraid.
Jar. She just hit the tip jar, y'all.
Did I what? Oh, I did?
Yeah, she hit the tip jar.
Oh, well.
Steven, she hit the tip jar.
Pay up. You just threw $1 on the
that's
table.
All right. We can make her pay up later.
I think she's afraid. And she's who she is. She is who she is. We're all going to go up there. We're all going to sit, and we're all going to be who we are. Now, you said she wasn't coached by the prosecution, so who else is she going to be? She's going to be herself. Now, I do believe she's smiling a lot more than she did on the first one, on her first trial that they showed. So somebody said something to her.
Yeah, so the first day she was a lot more
She was
defiant
real,
and aggressive. And the second day
she mellowed out a whole 360. She changed. But she's still her. The words that she uses, this is her. She's speaking. She's being herself. She's telling the story like she sees the story. Who the heck is the Lolo girl? And what makes her so perfect? That she made the Olympics? What makes her so perfect? What is it that she knows that Rachael doesn't know? And what could Rachael possibly teach her? She's got a lot of nerve to go and say that she's going to put her freaking face on a DVD cover. She's no better than Rachael. And given the situation that Rachel's in, I'd like to see Lolo handle it.
Steven?
Well, as far as Lolo Jones is, I find it very hypocritical considering all the stuff that, especially if you're an attractive woman and trying to do something, people just say, oh, you only got it because of your attractiveness versus your actual skill. So it's like putting down for me, even worse, another woman putting down another woman, regardless of color. And you see in the place that you went on beauty, now you got somebody else, you doing the same thing, bullying what everybody did to you. So that's one thing. Two, seeing that Ms. Gentile on the stand, it's an indictment on our black community overall because of one, our lack of forthright into letting our kids get to this far. Two, I have an issue with the fact of I've never thought that the lawyers for Trayvon Martin and everybody, I just don't think that they were up to the challenge for this, and it shows the lack of experience or creativity or consciousness in handling this trial, because now you would never let her get on the stand, and then now you only did something after, like Ms. S.Y. said, after somebody said something. Third, I felt it was very piss poor of a variety of things. Like, you had no control over the young girl, the parents, or anybody. And then before the trial and after he was gone, she lied on the stand. She lied to the police a couple of times. The comments and acting a fool on Facebook and Twitter and doing all these things. But the longer that alluding to what Ms. S.Y. said, the longer that she got on the stand for the last couple of days, the defense side made a mistake in terms of leaving her up there, because now you start to feel sorry that, gee, this is poor child, don't know how to act, this, that, and the other. So it's an indictment.
Here's my question, Steven. I'll come to you first. That's why I piggyback on this, because we haven't addressed this. Why are we, black people, picking on this girl? Like, we know that, here's what we know. Not what we think, here's what we know. We know that she was Trayvon Martin's friend. We know that Trayvon Martin was a black boy that was shot by what appears to be a white guy. We find out he's got Latino heritage. But we have made this out to be a white on black issue. And we know how we as black folk act when it's one of those types of deals. We wild out. We get so upset when white folk say the N-word and do stuff to us, even though we blink at it when Pookie kills Pookie in the street and Pookie calls Pookie the N-word. We don't trip when it's us doing it, but when it's white folk doing it, we wild out. So with that in mind, let me ask this question. We see that this is Trayvon's friend that was on the phone, because we heard that he was on the phone with his girlfriend and all this. We heard all of that. Now we see her. This is her. We see her. And because she ain't looking the way we want her to look, we want to talk about her. We want to say that she don't know how to talk. She don't represent us well. She's splitting a few verbs. She's not articulate. She's not attractive. She's fat. She's so dark. All of these things, when they said to her that we may need to adjourn and come back tomorrow, she was like, I ain't coming back here tomorrow. Every single person we know in the hood talks like that. We know people that talk like that. Mm-hmm. But when we see her, we're so embarrassed. So embarrassed that we want to pick on her.
That's because we're too stupid to realize the seriousness of the situation.
That's true. But you know what? It speaks to me. That's true. But you know what also it is? It's the fear white folk that some of us still got. That we still sick when Massa's sick. Because we think that we're supposed to be like Massa. So when we see someone that embarrasses us, we want to pick on them because we want Massa to see that we all right. Mm-hmm. That's what that is.
We want
That's that slave mentality, Stephen.
We want masters to feel that we're on equal planes with them.
With Master.
We're not.
And she's not. She ain't with us, Master. Mm-mm. She ain't with us. Turn. She's not with us, Master. We see what you see, Master. We see that she's not okay.
What we should have did is, okay, you know what? You were improper, but instead of putting her down, why not bring her in and say, you know what, we're going to find a way. We need to try to help this child instead of everybody clowning the child and things like that. And it's just that we're swimming in our own ignorance as a community. And it's until we can get out of that bowl and dry ourselves off and say, you know what, we're going to create a new bowl of alphabet soup and build things together.
No, it's a whole lot easier for us to criticize than help.
See, now the thing is, here's something I do a lot. Okay, I may fuss at something and criticize, but also offer a solution. Okay, this is the problem. I can't stand it. But okay, what are we going to do? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get this her help. Now, I criticize how she act, her parents. Well, you know what? What situation her parents are going through? Are they at the home because they don't have a job? And so they working 2 jobs, both of them. So she doesn't know anything. She left to fend for herself. Now, still, there should be some level of parenting because we had grandmothers and grandfathers that did this stuff for years and still corrected us. So I give a little leeway, but not that much.
You know, you just don't know what her upbringing was. You just don't know.
But then that's where it goes back to your earlier comment of it's still somebody. If your both parents are working, then somebody in your family or community, like you said, a village, these just has stepped in and not let this have happened. I'd be danged if I let a family member get up there and acted that way. I'm not caring about how dark or how big or what have you, but at least still carry yourself. You may not be as articulate as the next person.
There's nothing you can do at this point.
But you can carry yourself.
She is doing the best that she can with a really screwed up situation.
It is a screwed up situation.
She is doing the best that she can with that. So to tease her in any way is a bunch of bull.
You got to keep in mind that this was a girl who couldn't even go to the funeral. This was a girl who realized after the fact that she was the last person to speak to Trayvon Martin, her friend. Not Trayvon Martin, the martyr who was killed by the white guy with the hoodie and the Skittles. Not that guy. Not the guy who's got national exposure. No. We talking about her friend Trey. Who knows what she called him, but her friend Trey. You know what I mean? Like, think about who your friend was, Stephen, when you were 17. That's why I'm saying with you. I lost my best friend when I was 16. She was 17. Okay? I saw her 10 minutes before she died. 10 minutes before she died. True story. Stephanie Glover. I met her when I was 6 years old. And she died. She got stabbed in the street at 17 years old. I was Rachael Gentile. Okay? I just saw her before she died. So I understand where this girl is coming from. I understand the fact that she went in there and she kept it real. Was she articulate? No. Was she the European standard of beauty? No. Was she someone who split a verb or two? Yeah. Was she someone who was void of court etiquette? Absolutely. Was she coached appropriately by the prosecution? Hell no. But you know what? She was his friend, and she went in there and she kept it real.
She probably hasn't even had a chance to cry.
She didn't even go to the funeral, and she felt guilty because she was the last one to speak to Trayvon before she died. And she didn't want to see Trayvon's parents because she felt bad about not calling the police.
See, you can't even imagine.
She felt bad about not calling the police because she didn't realize that it was really going down like it was going down. Like
she wasn't aware of the situation.
Like, Stephen, think about the last time you was on the phone with your homie and the call dropped. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know your situations and stuff, but if you was on the phone with your homie and something was going on with your homie and the call dropped right before, you know, or right after you talked to him and him or her, and you just assumed that they'd be okay, even though they was telling you they was going through it, but you was like, they'd be all right, and you just let it go, and then you find out tomorrow that they freaking died. Like, this is what happened to this girl. And here we go in our community, and yes, I am pointing the finger at our community like Bill Cosby and oh, our president does, and y'all get mad at them for doing it. I guess you need to get mad at me too, because I'm pointing the finger at us for doing the wrong thing. You don't make fun of your own for being who they are.
And it's regardless of whether it's a national spotlight or not, you just don't do it. And then that's the whole thing about it. And it wouldn't even gotten to this light, to what you alluded to, if it was a black crime, it would never even gotten this far globally. And it's just a sad fact that as a community, we got to take a stand, whether it's major or minor. You got to take a stand and stop acting this. It's not about this whole thing of exposing our secrets. It's nothing exposed about it. It's everybody out there. You don't see it so much in other groups and things like that, but we are so destined to prove that I'm a better black person than you, and I'm on the same level as, like you said, Massa or anything else, that we're going to do anything we can to cut each other down instead of sitting there and saying, instead of bringing each other up. And that's how you build, and that's how you bring, and that's how you get that race.
And that's the crab's mentality. And you know what pisses me off? That's why the fact that we're having this discussion, we started this line of discussion about 15 minutes ago, right? And when I post this piece of the show on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, or wherever I put it, right? Ain't nobody gonna listen to it. That's the reality. Nobody's gonna listen to it. You know why? Because I'm not talking about your ass out and your boobs out and you calling your homegirl a bitch. I'm not talking about none of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not putting up a post about how you showing buffoonery and doing silliness. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm calling you out for picking on your own. I'm calling you out for being a jackass. And nobody is going to listen to this portion of Ain't No How to Stop a Marcus J. They just not. They're going to listen and they're going to hear me start ranting. They're going to hear Steven start ranting and hear you start ranting about it, and they're going to turn it off. You know why?
Hurts.
Because we are not going to listen to nothing unless we can talk about Evelyn Lozada throwing a chair at somebody. That's you know what? And again, I did my rant about this last week, but this is what drives me crazy, Steven. Now, one other thing that I want to add to this before we wrap up the show, because while we own Legacy Internet Radio, we can't sit here and talk all night. So let me just go ahead and get one more piece out there before we end the show and do our rants and closings. Don West. Don West is the attorney, the defense attorney for George Zimmerman. I'm showing you guys a photograph of Don West and his daughters. Apparently, right after Don West does his opening statements in any of his cases, he takes his daughters out for ice cream. It's a staple in the West family. That's pretty sweet, pretty cool. I understand that, right, Steven? Pretty cool stuff, right? Yeah, pretty cool. That's why you think that's cool, right? Yeah, not so damn cool. You know why? Because Don West's daughter is a jackass. You know why she's a jackass? Because I'm seeing this picture only because her dumb ass tweeted it. Not only did she tweet it, but she tweeted it with a caption. You want to know what the caption said? The caption alludes to the fact that her dad just went in the court and did his opening statement in defense of George Zimmerman. You know, up to and including the dumbass knock-knock joke that he did. Yeah, the knock-knock joke that I'm not going to even go further on, but you know about the knock-knock joke he did. Yeah. Her tweet says, quote, "We beat stupidity celebration cones." We beat stupidity celebration cones. Yeah. It's a picture, of course, of his daughter and him and his other daughter. Now, the photo by itself is pretty innocent, but it's the caption.
That makes it a little different.
She also says, Dad didn't kill anything, but George Zimmerman did kill. Well, this is not what the caption says, but this is what the article is alluding to. Dad didn't kill anything, but George Zimmerman killed the 17-year-old kid. But she says in her caption, Dad killed it, talking about his opening statement. So I don't know that we need to make a big deal out of this, but I do want to get you guys' opinion on the fact that, of course, really quickly, young Molly deleted her Twitter page, sure, probably at Dad's, Dad's reckoning. But what do you think about this, Steven? I mean, you got the fact that you got a racially charged case. The fact that her dad is the defense attorney for the white guy that killed the black kid. Now, you're going to be listening to us right now. If you're white or if you're someone who is even with regards to racial overtones or undertones, for lack of that better term, that you don't like any discussion of it. Me, I see race in a whole lot of stuff. Has she ever made a tweet like this before?
Probably so.
Do you think she really made a tweet like this before? Think about it.
Yes.
You think this girl has tweeted a picture of her dad with an ice cream cone talking about dad killed it before? I would say she probably has not.
It may not be that picture. She's tweeted.
She's
done it.
I disagree.
I'm willing to.
And at this point, I think we need a new.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Here's where I disagree. I think the fact that this case is so mainstream, and I guess it's possible to go through her Twitter page, like we talked about the young girl who had the disparaging things to say about NBA earlier tonight. You know, they went back in her Twitter page a whole year and found that stuff. So I'd be willing to say that if you go back on this young girl's Twitter page a whole year, I would bet that you wouldn't find anything with photographs of them eating ice cream and talking about how dad killed it before. This case is on the news and people are watching it every single day on the big three cable networks. One starts with C, one starts with S, and one F, and one starts with M. You know who they are. Those cable networks, you can watch the case every single day. I would be willing to bet, and unfortunately I don't know, so it's all, conjecture and speculatory, but I'd be willing to bet this girl don't be tweeting like this. She probably tweets a lot, but she don't tweet about how dad killed it and we beat stupidity.
But she probably tweeted some other racial things.
Yep, she sure did.
Things like that just don't happen overnight. You see a lot of girls of all different races treat a lot of racists. And
now we need a new defense attorney.
Exactly. Be honest, he should be disbarred because if just from simple.
I don't know about being disbarred. I don't know if they will do something like that for a tweet that his daughter did.
But you know what? But that leads me to believe that there's a lot more stuff with this case going on in the home that should not be, because now you're bringing your work in the home. Discussing everything, so you're not handling it properly, and you have no control of your home or your practice. So to me, that's raises a level of, okay, you need to be disbarred.
And he's in the picture.
Yes,
That's a big problem.
Yeah, so he
That's
needs to be. So you're you're allowing your family to interfere with your work in a legal case with just a public case, but it's private information that's supposed to be for the court only. That lets me believe you're not handling your legal practice in an orderly fashion. Thus, you need to be disbarred.
Well, I agree with that. I don't think that they're even going to look into that deep with the comment that this girl made. Like you said, Daddy's talking about it. Daddy's got his comments. They all laughed and toast Joy to ice cream with it.
I don't think that this comment or this picture warrants a disbarment. I think
I'm thinking as a whole, the whole case.
Yeah, I don't think that we need to. I don't think that we need to be talking about disbarment. I do think that we need to be talking about inappropriate actions. But I don't blame Don West. Let's be clear. I don't blame him because he ain't the one that did it. This is his daughter. This is his child that did it. She basically embarrassed her dad. And that's the whole reason why we're talking about it. I don't blame him. He's the defense attorney. His job is to defend, George Zimmerman in these second-degree murder charges.
Now, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say he set this up on purpose.
I don't think that he would. I don't know that I can fairly play devil's advocate with that because I can't imagine how any attorney in a high-profile case like this would, on any level, endorse that kind of photograph getting out. Certainly with that kind of caption being attached to it. So
I definitely want to see the feedback on this.
Well, I mean, the picture got deleted and so did the Twitter account. So I don't know that there's anything out there, but I disagree with him being complicit in it. I just think that, again, it speaks to the mindset. A lot of the issues that I want to bring up, like Paula Deen and like the girl from Master Chef and Don West's daughters, a lot of it has to do with mindset. And the mindset of those three people who I spoke of or in the mainstream, who I can put my finger on, those people, while I don't think they represent the masses, I think they give you a window into how a lot of people may think about how the race relations are. Are we great and perfect as black folk? Hell no. We got some issues too. I mean, Rachael said that, Trayvon called him a crazy ass cracker, which that ain't cool, So I mean, we all say some stuff that we shouldn't say. However, when you say stuff against me, I'm gonna speak out. It's up to you to speak out when I say something about you. But when you say something about me, I got something to say about that.
The reason why I say that, playing devil's advocate, he tried to introduce information about Trayvon's background, all these other different things that you knew that even the federal government that said is not admissible in court, and then you still try to introduce it, put all that information out there, okay? But it said, okay, you told the jurors, okay, it's no good, we can't accept this as testimony. But you knew this, but you used this as an angle of trying to portray Trayvon Martin as an instigator.
Because somebody on the jury is going to keep that back in their head.
No matter what. So it's still suggestive slandering, okay? You knew it was going to get out. So in this situation, here you go again, something else is put out there. So to me, it seems like there's a series of things even before the case trial started. It was a series of things that he put out that eventually had to be taken back. Now this is put out and I'm taken back. So to me, it seems like it's a repetitive pattern here. So now the father doing it, now the daughter's doing it. Something along the line doesn't connect.
I agree.
Well, I think, Daddy does have a little bit to do with it.
You think Daddy has some culpability?
I really do.
Yeah.
That's why I say, looking at it plainly, yes. But when you add all these other things, the examples I gave, that's where in my mind is thinking there's some shadiness going on.
If he was really doing his job, this girl would not have done that. If she understood the seriousness, she would not have done that.
No, exactly. Now, when you say it like that, I do agree with you. If she understood the seriousness of what's going on here, she should probably have not needed to delete her Twitter account because she said something stupid. But that's cool. We'll leave it there. We're going to take a break right now, the final break of the night, and then we come back in a very brief break. So don't go nowhere. Just quick enough to transition. We're going to do our rants. We're going to do our closings. We're going to shut down the show. I got Steven Sykes of Enliven Radio. I got the #1 fan of Legacy Internet Radio, S.Y. Butler in the building. Be back in a minute, y'all. Stay with us.